All right, welcome back to the deep dive. You ready to dive deep?
Always ready. Let's do it.
Awesome. So today we're gonna do a deep dive on Culpa Mia.
Yeah,
I hope I said that right.
we did.
Okay, great. Um, and specifically, we're gonna be talking about Noah and Nicholas.
Yes. Two very interesting characters.
And I guess the mission here is to understand these characters.
Yeah.
Like what makes them tick.
Yeah.
What are they all about?
Absolutely. And especially because their relationship is described as passionate in the summaries we
Oh,
have.
passionate.
So
Yeah.
that already gives you a sense of like the intensity of their connection.
Yeah, it usually means fireworks.
Right. Exactly. And we see that right away just from reading the summaries. You get this feeling that they're going to clash.
Yeah.
Because she's described as intelligent, driven, someone who faces challenges head on.
Hmm.
And then you have Nicholas, who's charming, popular, but also seems to have like a complicated family background.
It sounds like someone who's used to getting what he wants.
Right. And so when you put those two personalities together, it's like, ooh, how's that going to work?
So let's get into it.
Yeah.
The scene we're looking at has Noah arriving at her new stepfather's house.
Very luxurious.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And almost immediately there's tension with Nicholas.
Yeah, it's interesting how the setting, this luxurious home, it already kind of sets the stage, for maybe some class differences, some socioeconomic tension.
Right.
Which could be adding fuel to their conflict.
Yeah. And even Nicholas's dog, Thor, is described as horrible.
I love that detail.
Yeah, it's like even the dog is a reflection of like the tension between them.
Right. It's almost like an extension of Nicholas himself,
Yeah. Okay, so we also get this really interesting glimpse into Noah's thoughts in this scene.
Oh, yeah, her inner monologue.
Yeah. And she's angry. I mean, she's clearly overwhelmed by everything. Moving, new stepdad, now Nicholas.
Mm. And you can't forget about the resentment she might be carrying towards her mother and stepfather.
Right.
That could definitely color how she sees Nicholas.
And she's not exactly hiding her feelings.
No. She even calls him arrogant and condescending.
Yeah. And I love the detail about her outfit.
Oh, the Ramones dress.
Yes. Black Ramones dress for dinner.
Very rebellious.
But still stylish.
Oh, totally. What do you think that says about her?
I think it shows that she's trying to hold on to her own identity,
Yeah.
Even in this new unfamiliar world.
Like, she's not going to conform completely.
Right. And then there's Nicholas. He seems almost amused by her defiance.
It's an interesting reaction.
But then he also throws in those subtle digs about her background.
Yeah, like he can't resist poking the bear a little.
It makes you wonder if he's overcompensating for something.
Like maybe he's insecure about something.
Yeah, maybe. And there's this small moment, but I think it's really telling, where he seems to know the waitress at the yacht club.
Oh, tell me about that.
And then when Noah points it out, he pretends he doesn't know her.
Ooh, that's juicy. What do you think that's about?
I don't know. Like, is he trying to protect her?
Maybe.
Or maybe he's worried about what his family would think?
He's like, there's a whole other layer to him.
Right. Like he's got this whole secret life going on.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, like, what else is he hiding?
Yeah. And I can't help but notice, we talked about Noah's outfit. Nicholas is also dressed casually, but you can tell it's expensive.
Oh, absolutely. Like
Okay,
that
right.
effortless wealth.
Yeah. He doesn't even have to try.
Nope.
And as the dinner goes on, you can just feel the tension building.
Oh, yeah.
Noah's getting more and more frustrated.
And she doesn't hold back. She challenges him, even about his driving.
Which, for a teenage boy, that's gotta hurt.
Shit's a classic power struggle, right? Like, who's in control here?
Yeah. And then, boom, the climax of the scene.
Yeah.
She tries to throw her drink at him.
But the glass is empty.
Empty. That's such a great detail.
It's so symbolic, right?
Yes. Like, she's full of rage, but she doesn't actually have the power to hurt him.
She's trapped.
Totally.
And that's what makes it so relatable.
And then, cliffhanger.
Ugh, I hate cliffhangers.
I know. But it definitely leaves you wanting more.
For sure. We've only just scratched the surface of these characters.
I'm already hooked.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
So much to unpack here. Makes you wonder what his life's really like outside of this wealthy bubble,
Yeah. It's like he's putting on a show.
Maybe. And maybe Noah sees right through it?
That could be what's fueling her anger, too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's not just about him being rich.
Right. It's like she senses there's something fake about him.
And then she challenges his driving, remember?
Oh, yeah. I mean, for a guy his age, that's got to be a sensitive topic.
Totally. It's all about power, isn't it?
It's like they're both trying to establish dominance in this new family dynamic.
Exactly.
And then there's that moment with the drink,
Oh, yeah, yeah. When she tries to throw it at him.
but it's empty.
Empty. Such a powerful image, don't you think?
Totally. It's like all this pent-up rage, but she's powerless.
Trapped.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, in a way, makes her even more relatable.
Because she's trying so hard to fight back, but she doesn't have the means to do it.
She's still figuring things out.
And then, boom, cliffhanger.
Ugh, I hate it when authors do that.
I know. But it definitely leaves you wanting more.
So what have we learned about Noah and Nicholas so far?
Well, I think it's safe to say they're both more complicated than they seem on the surface.
Absolutely. There's like this whole iceberg situation going on. We're only seeing the tip.
And their relationship is, well, it's explosive, to say the least.
It makes you wonder, though, is it all just conflict?
Right. Is there any chance of them, finding some common ground?
Or maybe even, dare I say it, falling for each other?
Ooh, that's a good question. But I guess we'll have to wait and see.
And what about Noah's relationship with her mom?
Oh, yeah. There's definitely some tension there.
So many questions, so little time.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Okay, sounds good.
But before we go, I want to leave our listener with a question.
Okay, Emmy.
If you were in Noah's shoes, walking into this whole new life, new house, new family, and meeting Nicholas for the first time, how would you react?
It's easy to judge from the outside, but I imagine it's a lot harder when you're actually in that situation.
What would you do? How would you handle it? Think about it. We'll pick back up in part 3.
Yeah, would you try to fit in? Or would you be like, nope, this is me, take it or leave it?
Right. And how would you deal with Nicholas? I mean, he's clearly a challenge.
Definitely. Would you try to see, like, what's going on beneath the surface, or would you just write him off as a spoiled rich kid?
It's so easy to make judgments, but I bet it's a lot harder when you're actually living it.
Totally. And that's what I love about these deep dives. It's not just about, like, analyzing fictional characters.
It makes you think about yourself, right?
Yeah, like, how would I react in that situation?
Have I ever been the Noah?
Or the Nicholas.
Exactly.
So it's really a reflection on ourselves, too.
Okay, so I gotta know what happens next. I mean, does Noah ever adapt to this new life?
And what about Nicholas? Do they ever, like, find some common ground?
Or do they just keep clashing?
And don't forget about her mom.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole other layer.
Can they fix their relationship?
Ugh, so many questions. I guess I'll just have to read the book.
Right. That's the mark of a good story, though.
It leaves you wanting more.
Exactly. It makes you think.
Well, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive for today. Time flies when you're having fun, right?
It really does. So, to recap, we took a deep dive into Culpa Mia.
We explored these amazing characters, Noah and Nicholas.
We talked about their personalities, their motivations, and the forces shaping their explosive relationship. And most importantly, we left you with some questions to ponder.
Because sometimes the best stories don't give you all the answers.
They make you ask more questions.
So keep exploring those stories
Keep diving deep.
and keep those minds engaged. We'll see you on the next deep dive.
See ya!
All right, so welcome back for another deep dive.
Always exciting to be back.
This time, we're diving into an excerpt from a novel.
Ooh, sounds juicy.
It's giving family drama, clashing personalities, a little bit of mystery,
Sign me up.
definitely some simmering tension that you just know is going to boil over at some point.
Can't wait.
So let's meet our main players, shall we? We've got Noah and Nicholas, step-siblings.
Step-siblings. Okay, got it.
And right off the bat, the text gives us these really vivid character descriptions.
Yeah, what do we know about them?
Well, Noah, she's smart, independent, definitely a woman who knows what she wants.
I like her already.
But there were these little hints, that her home life maybe isn't all that great.
Oh, interesting. A little mystery there.
Now, Nicholas, he's charming on the surface, successful.
One of those.
But you get the sense that he's wrestling with some internal struggles, maybe doesn't quite fit the mold his family has for him.
Classic.
And their relationship,
Yeah.
oh, it's tangled.
Yeah.
Definitely a key driver to the story.
Lots of potential for conflict there.
So the excerpt drops us right into this fancy restaurant.
Fancy. Okay.
It's a dinner with Noah, Nicholas, their father, in his new wife.
So we're like right in the thick of it, this new family dynamic.
Exactly. And almost immediately there's this little power struggle that pops up.
Oh, really? How so?
It's over something as simple as an empty glass.
An empty glass? That's interesting.
Nicholas is watching Noah. You can tell he's trying to get under her skin, even if it's just a little.
I mean, we've all been there, that sibling rivalry.
Totally. And we also get these glimpses into Nicholas's thoughts.
Oh, like an internal monologue?
Yeah. And he finds Noah unpredictable. He says he enjoys intimidating her a little.
So he's aware of the power dynamic at play.
He even admits that he finds her attractive, but more like she's a problem he has to deal with.
So she's a distraction, a potential threat, maybe.
Exactly. And he's constantly comparing her to other girls he knows, pointing out how different she is.
How so?
She's got simple taste, no makeup, not flashy like the women he usually goes for.
So she's not playing the game he's used to.
And then there's this moment where Noah catches him staring.
Oh.
And she just tosses out this totally sarcastic comment about offering him a nude photo.
Ooh, bird.
It's like she's calling his bluff, refusing to be intimidated.
She's not backing down.
And, Nicholas, he actually seems to enjoy it, like he's been waiting for her to push back.
It's that push and pull dynamic. They're both kind of feeding off it.
So we've got this underlying tension between Noah and Nicholas.
Yeah, and it's clear that it's about more than just the empty glass or who gets the last slice of cake.
Right. It speaks to this deeper power struggle, especially in the context of this newly blended family.
They're both trying to figure out where they fit in, how they relate to each other.
And the dinner itself is like this pressure cooker, simmering with all these unspoken tensions.
You can just feel it building.
You've got the new wife. There's this strained relationship between Nicholas and his father.
And then Noah just tosses these little grenades into the mix with her sharp comments.
It's like she knows exactly how to push everyone's buttons.
Keeping everyone on their toes.
And it's Nicholas's lie about a law case that really kicks things up a notch.
Oh, what happens?
Noah's interest has immediately peaked, and she starts questioning him, challenging his assumptions about her.
Like she sees right through him.
And you can tell he's thrown off guard. He totally underestimated her intelligence.
He thought she was just a naive little stepsister.
And this is where their dynamic really starts to shift.
How so?
It's like Noah sees an opportunity to gain some leverage. She's not going to let him control the narrative.
Interesting. So it's not just about sibling rivalry anymore. It's about something more.
Exactly. And then she does something completely unexpected.
What's that?
She decides to leave the dinner with Nicholas.
Even though she supposedly hates him.
Yep. She's defying her parents, aligning herself with the very person she claims to dislike.
That's a power move for sure.
It sets the stage for a whole new level of tension and intrigue.
Wow, I'm hooked already. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Thing two, this is just the beginning.
Okay, let's dive in. Okay, so we're in Nicholas's car now.
Yeah, they're driving away from that dinner, and the tension is palpable.
You can cut it with a knife.
And we're right inside Nicholas's head, getting his thoughts.
Oh, what's he thinking?
He just wants to get rid of Noah.
Really?
Yeah, he sees her as this, burden, this unexpected responsibility.
He didn't sign up for this.
But Noah, she's not just along for the ride,
What do you mean?
She's watching him, studying him, trying to figure out what his angle is.
Oh, so there's suspicion there.
Definitely. And remember, they're both running from something.
Yeah, that dinner was a mess.
More than that, it's like they're fleeing these expectations, the roles their families are trying to force on them.
That's interesting, this idea of escape.
And it's funny because Noah was so against even walking with Nicholas.
Right, she wanted nothing to do with him.
But then their dad pushes them together, and suddenly she changes her tune.
Almost like a reverse psychology thing.
And that escape from the dinner, it feels symbolic.
Like a rejection of the status quo.
Exactly. They're breaking free from these roles, these expectations.
A classic act of rebellion.
But it's more complicated because they're step-siblings.
That adds a whole other layer to it.
And let's not forget, there's this undeniable attraction between them.
Oh, yeah. There were definitely some hints of that.
Nicholas might be annoyed by Noah, but he's also drawn to her.
It's that classic push and pull.
And the author uses their physical proximity in the car to really heighten that tension.
Oh, how so?
They're in this confined space. Their bodies are practically touching.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be intense.
It creates this sense of unease, anticipation. You're just waiting for something to happen.
It's like a powder keg ready to explode.
It reminds me of those old film noir movies,
Oh, yeah, the detective and the femme fatale.
Exactly. They're circling each other, both trying to maintain control, but there's this underlying pull.
A dangerous game.
So where do you think this is all heading, this forced escape?
It's hard to say. The excerpt ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, it leaves us with more questions than answers.
But I think it's safe to say that their journey in that car is going to be just as tumultuous as that dinner they left behind.
It's like they're on this collision course. Either they'll crash and burn,
Or
or,
what?
or maybe, just maybe, this shared experience will force them to see each other in a new light.
Interesting. So the escape could actually bring them closer together?
It's possible, but there's still so many unknowns.
Like what?
Well, they're both keeping secrets, right? Nicholas with his shady dealings, and Noah, we still don't know what her endgame is.
True, she's a bit of a mystery.
And those secrets, they're bound to come out eventually.
Adding fuel to the fire.
It's a recipe for disaster. Or maybe, just maybe, something more. Wow, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Definitely a lot to unpack.
We've got these really vivid characters, that super intense family dinner, and then that escape in Nicholas's car.
Yeah, it's like every scene is just amping up the tension.
What stands out to you? Like, what makes this excerpt so captivating?
I think it's how the author takes these ordinary moments, like the empty glass, the sarcastic comment.
Or even that lie about the law case.
Exactly. And they use those to reveal these deeper anxieties about power and control.
Yeah, it's not just about what happens, it's about what's underneath, those unspoken desires and fears driving the characters.
Like that dinner, right? It's
That-
supposed to be this like safe, familiar setting
But it turns into this battleground,
where Noah and Nicholas are constantly testing each other.
trying to establish dominance.
And then you add in the fact that they're step-siblings.
Right, that changes everything.
It's not just about competing for their parents' attention. It's about this weird mix of attraction and rivalry.
Like, they're drawn to each other, but also resent each other's presence.
It's a dynamic that I think a lot of people can relate to, that feeling of being an outsider.
Always fighting for your place.
And the author doesn't shy away from the darker side of that struggle.
Yeah, like with Nicholas and his treatment of Claudia.
That casual disregard for women, his possible involvement in illegal activities,
It's all pretty messed up.
and even Noah, who seems so tough and independent.
There are hints of vulnerability there.
That need for validation, for control.
And that decision to run away together.
It's a huge act of rebellion.
Like, they're saying, we're not playing by your rules anymore.
But it also puts them on this uncertain path, right?
That could lead to more conflict.
Or maybe even an unexpected connection.
It's that uncertainty that keeps you hooked.
Wondering what will happen next. Will their secrets be revealed?
Will this escape tear them apart or bring them closer?
And how will it all impact their family?
It's a story that really stays with you.
It makes you think about your own experiences with family, with power dynamics, with all the complicated messiness of relationships.
This excerpt, it's like a little puzzle box.
Beautiful on the surface, but with all these hidden compartments.
And the deeper you dive, the more you realize there are no easy answers.
It's the kind of story that leaves you with more questions than answers.
Which is what makes it so compelling.
It's a reminder that even in the most familiar settings, there are these hidden depths waiting to be explored.
So if you're looking for a read, that will stay with you.
One that'll make you think, make you feel.
This is definitely one to add to your list.
It's a reminder that even in the midst of chaos and conflict, there's always the possibility for connection, for growth.
And sometimes you just have to dive into the deep end to find it.
Well said, well said.
We're so glad you joined us for this deep dive.
It's always a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and as always, keep diving deep.